What is up, everybody? We are back. I would say in better than ever, but that's probably not true.
No.
Our records are not better than ever.
What we looking at? We're
Uh,
looking at for a record this time around.
As it stands, we are tied.
Okay.
4 pushes. 48 correct. 57 incorrect. 57 incorrect.
I mean, we're just a good week away from going above 500, right?
That's very
Right?
true.
A good week. This could be that week. You don't think so?
No, we always suck at this.
No. The NFL sucks at this.
The NFL sucks at matching our picks.
We're a casualty of the war that's happening right now.
You ain't fucking kidding, dog.
This is ass.
So we'll go ahead and just get it out of the way. Thursday night, Baltimore defeated Tampa Bay. We took Baltimore in that game, and because Baltimore was getting points, we did get that one correct. So we are 1-0 on the week.
Which kind of threw me.
That Baltimore got points.
Getting points, yeah. I don't know who made that decision.
I guess because it was Tampa, and they thought maybe Tampa was going to start coming back.
Advantage is not just enough to overcome the fact that one team's playing bad, the other team's playing good.
Yeah,
for the most part.
For the most part.
The Ravens have been blowing some leads.
Yeah, they've been shaky.
That was always potential.
But they got it. Mm-hmm. So we're 1-0 on the week. Let's just get started with early bullshit. We got a 9 a.m. Eastern time game tomorrow, taking place from the good old United Kingdom.
Yeah.
Denver is at the Jaguars, even though it's in London. It's so weird how they do that. Denver getting 2.5.
You think that's enough?
Hell no.
To have been playing like absolute buns.
Yeah, but Russell Wilson likes losing. Broncos country, let's die.
Oh man, you heard about him working out in the aisle of the plane?
Yeah, the whole plane ride. Yeah,
the whole plane ride. Which I mean,
good for him.
That's a long plane ride. That's honestly something to do during the plane ride. Well, the most productive thing you could possibly do.
He probably wouldn't have had the energy for it if he had done anything in the game.
Anyway, we're both taking Jacksonville.
And the good news is, Russ, you'll have an even longer plane ride to work out this time.
It's true.
Let's move on. What do we got next?
Do 13 hours of squats.
Oh my God, my knees. My knees hurt thinking about that. Not to mention my poor ankle, but my knees.
Anyway, we got Miami heading to Detroit. Detroit getting 3.5 points.
13 hours of planks. In the highway, just.
I don't know why the thought process is that he's doing the same exercise the whole
time.
Not changing a thing. He's like
wall squats.
Like, hey, do you want to do something different? He's like,
nah. It's core day.
It's core day. I don't like the other core exercises. I just plank.
I can't imagine, dude. Planking for 2 minutes is rough. 13 hours.
Dude, I don't think it's physically possible.
If he did it, he'd be a legend. Anyway, what'd you say the next game was?
Miami in Detroit. Detroit getting 3.5.
So home dogs. You think 3.5 is enough against Miami?
Against last year's Detroit, where they were keeping games relatively close, I would probably take Detroit, but not this year.
No. Plus,
They
Miami's
had
been something special when Tua's
yeah,
in.
Miami. Yeah, they've
And
been doing
and welcome back, Tua. Welcome back. It's good to have you home. Good for you.
glad it wasn't more serious.
I'm
'Cause
gonna be honest with you. I'm very surprised he's back already.
I am, yes, I am as
I
well.
thought this was probably a season ender.
I figured at least 3-4 weeks.
I thought there was a good chance that was it for his season,
well,
and they were just going to give him the whole season to.
Yeah, I figured there'd be at least a decent chunk of time before.
But welcome back.
Up, like as an option, but yeah, he's back, still playing good football.
Yeah, and I think he'll play even better against Detroit. I'm taking Miami.
Same.
All right, we got Carolina heading to the big ATL, going against the Falcons. Falcons minus 4.5 at home. Do we think Carolina getting 4.5 is enough to take them?
So I think these two teams, with what they've done, who they've played, who they've beaten, I think they're relatively comparable right now. And I'm kind of tossed up between the two just in general and who's going to win the game. With Carolina getting 4.5 points, I have to swing towards Carolina.
Agreed. I don't think there's much to be said. Carolina came out and really surprised me last week. Getting rid of McCaffrey, getting rid of I can't think of his name.
I forgot who it was.
You know who I'm talking about, though. The guy that was causing problems on the sideline for them.
Yeah,
I can't think of his name off the top of my head. But getting rid of both of them, big weapons for the team, I was very surprised that they came out last week and they beat Tampa so definitively.
Yeah, it was a dominant performance.
Yeah, 21-3.
Not really seen from Carolina.
Well, maybe that's because of PJ Walker. Maybe he's just the next person in Carolina. And if it is, good for him, because he was one of my favorites in the XFL.
And he worked his way up to the NFL, and
yeah,
I mean, maybe this is where he's actually getting his fair shake at running a football team.
So I'm gonna take Carolina. I don't necessarily feel overwhelmingly great about it, but I would feel less settled if I took Atlanta.
Yeah.
So let's move on.
So the Cardinals, they're traveling to Minnesota to face the Vikings. And the Cardinals are getting 3.5 points.
Not enough.
Agreed.
It's just not.
The Vikings are a powerhouse team right now. Can't ignore it. And Call of Duty just dropped.
Yeah.
Can't ignore it.
Yeah. Murray is more focused on getting a 3.5 KD than he is getting 3.5 points.
We obviously say this in jest, but I mean, who knows? Statistically, this did happen last year.
His fall off lined up right with when Call of Duty was coming out.
So we'll see if that happens.
And we are just giving him a hard time. We think that he's. Yeah. I personally think Kyler Murray is very talented, and I think he's on a shit team. And I think his coach, for all intents and purposes, does not know how to have a winning season. Because we've looked at the records, and he struggles in the second half of every season.
Yeah. It was nice to see Kyler get fired up.
Yeah.
In that last game.
It was.
Like done with the bullshit. Like, hey, what are we doing?
And I hope that Kyler comes out this week and says, I ain't even buy Call of Duty. I'm out here to work. And he puts on a clinic. I hope.
Yeah. No, I'd like to see it. I mean,
but I think Minnesota's just a better team.
As a Packer fan, I'm a little biased. I'd like to see the Vikings maybe not take this dub.
But also as a Kyler fan.
I would like to see him perform and be successful at the level I know he's capable of.
Right. And play Call of Duty in the offseason. Let's move on. We got Chicago heading Bears heading to the boys. Chicago getting 9.5. That's a lot.
That's kind of steep, bro.
That's a lot.
That's kind of steep.
That's a lot.
Can Dallas cash that check?
Yeah, I think Dallas can cash that check.
I think so too.
Best defense in the league, maybe Philly. Philly and Dallas having the best defenses in the league. It's just
they still have a stacked offense. Zeke is out,
probably out.
Notable,
he's doubtful, yeah. But Pollard.
Yeah, you still have one of the better running backs in the league right now.
People sleep on Pollard. People sleep on Pollard.
I think the Bears are going to do better than a lot of people might expect.
But I don't think they keep it close.
I don't think they keep it within 10.
I don't think they get embarrassed.
No. I think they play hard. I think they prove that they're still, a budding football team under,
And this is something that you and I have talked about prior. Chicago in a couple years could be a problem.
Could be very much a problem.
Like they are really growing into their shoes.
But they did just lose Quinn, which surprised me.
Why to Philly?
I don't know.
They didn't need that, man.
I really don't know.
They didn't need that man.
No.
It's hurt.
Dude, imagine the spark of life Quinn's gonna have on that team.
Maybe he shits the bed.
Maybe, but I'm not gonna wish bad on a man.
No. I'm just gonna wish bad on the Eagles.
Let's go ahead and move on. You have Derek Carr and the Raiders traveling to New Orleans.
New Orleans? All the way down to Nolens?
New Orleans.
Oh, down to Nolens.
They getting a point.
Nolens? Nolens is getting a point?
At home, they're getting a singular point. What do you think? Think this?
I think that's enough.
To an extra point.
I think that's enough.
I think that's enough.
Yeah, I think New Orleans is going to win this. I think New Orleans is the look. Devontae Adams might not play.
Yeah, Devontae Adams is
questionable.
Apparently has an illness.
It's questionable.
I imagine he plays. I don't know what his
Waller questionable.
Yes, Waller's also questionable. I still imagine he plays, but
if neither of them play, it comes down to Renfrow. Now, I like Renfrow.
Stout player.
Like Renfrow. Renfrow cannot carry a team alone.
No.
And let's just keep it real.
We've seen the players we've mentioned so far can't carry this team because, they're just dragging their defense along. Right. So,
and yes, New Orleans has just as many wins as Vegas does, but New Orleans also had Andy Dalton at the helm the past couple weeks. Had they had a Jameis Winston or maybe Taysom Hill, I don't know if Taysom Hill's meant to lead an offense. I think he's a great weapon, and I think he's great for some really clutch power plays, but I don't know that he's a number one.
I think he's okay to hold it down.
I think he's okay to hold it down. I don't know that he's ever going to be a number one.
I would prefer to see Hill over Dalton.
Agreed. But if they had Hill in or Jameis Winston in, there's a good chance they could have won last week against the Cardinals. They kept it close. They could have won the week before. They lost that one game to Minnesota by a field goal. So I just think New Orleans is the better team right now. I'm going to take New Orleans, especially with Winston coming back. Let's move on to the Battle of Pennsylvania. Pittsburgh heading over to Philadelphia. Philadelphia minus 10.5.
That's a lot of points, man.
Yeah, but
that's a lot of.
But Pittsburgh's buns.
They got Kenny Pickett.
And he gonna throw a pick or two.
Probably. Slay working for it.
Slay ball hawking. Slay thinks his name's Trayvon Diggs.
Yeah, we both think this is not enough. Eagles, they're dominant.
They're stout, man. I'm gonna be real.
There are a few teams that
have a chance.
We think might have a chance later on. This is not one of them.
No, but
we're going.
I wouldn't complain.
Can we give him 7? I wouldn't complain.
Wouldn't complain. I could use Philly getting a loss here. I could use it. Just saying. Let's move on.
Moving on. Patriots traveling to New York to face off against the Jets. Jets getting 2.5 points.
At home.
Home. Getting 2.5 points.
On a 4-game win streak.
Against the Patriots.
Who lost last week.
Also, the Patriots lost to Green Bay, who the Jets just beat.
Throttled 2 weeks ago.
Yes.
I'm taking the Jets.
I don't think this is really a conversation. Taking Jets.
Yes, Bill Belichick has a history of beating his division up, but that was a long time ago.
Same team.
It's not.
Aaron Rodgers. This is not the same Jets that everyone's expecting.
It's not.
They have dogs on their team now.
The Jets are 5-2, people.
Yes.
The Jets have the same record as the Kansas City Chiefs. Let's just let that sink in for a second. There is one team in the AFC with a better record than the Jets, and that's Buffalo. That's it. Buffalo is the only reason the Jets would be a wild card team right now. If Buffalo were to lose this week and the Jets were to win, the Jets would be the number 1 seed. And people aren't people aren't acknowledging that the Jets are actually a fucking problem right now.
Being acknowledged.
They deserve it. They're putting in the work.
They're hard.
And look, and let's just keep it real. The Jets were winning games with Flacco. You don't think Zach Wilson's gonna fucking rip people? Come on. I'm taking the Jets. Let's move on. Tennessee heading all the way over to Houston. I really don't understand the division breakups. You would think divisions with the words North, East, West, and South, they would actually be like geographically close to one another. It's very strange that the South has Texas and Tennessee both in it. I digress.
We could have this conversation every year.
We could. I mean, the worst one, if we're being honest, is the fact that Dallas is in the NFC East. That's the worst one, if we're being honest.
Doesn't make any sense.
With Washington, Philly, and New York, and then Dallas. Anyway. Tennessee on their way to Houston. Houston getting 2.5. I don't have much to say either. I think Tennessee is the better team.
Yeah, they're just the better team.
Thoroughly.
Yep.
Move on. Speaking of the NFC East,
are heading to Seattle to
that's West.
face off against. Yes. Yes.
Hey, good news.
It is.
The Seahawks are in the NFC West. I'm sorry. It always bothers me the way that these divisions are broken up. I just wish we would use other words if we're not going to actually have them be in their geographical location.
Anyway,
Giants getting
Seattle,
3.
Hometown favorites. Giants getting 3 points.
Why?
Giants are a 6-1 team. 6-1.
Only loss was to Dallas.
They've beaten teams to prove that they deserve to be here.
Their only loss is to the 5-2 Cowboys,
who have arguably the best defense in the league.
And we're going to sleep on the Giants? No, I'm taking New York.
Absolutely.
Let's move on. Also in the NFC East, we got the Washington Commanders. God, I still hate that name. Heading to the Indianapolis Colts. The Commanders getting 3. So,
well, Commanders fans, you'll be happy to know that Carson Wentz is not your quarterback this week.
Or ever again, probably.
Heineke's back.
Congratulations, you deserve this, people of Washington, D.C.
Oh, man.
And for all of you, because Carson Wentz is sitting, I'm taking the Commanders.
Absolutely taking the Commanders. It's weird that that's what we focus on with all the drama going on with the Colts.
This is amazing. Both of the last 2 starting quarterbacks for the Colts are sitting on the bench in this game.
Yo. Yo, that's fucked.
It's true.
Um, true. Matt Ryan is
Benched.
benched. He
Probably
does
for
have an
good.
injury, but his bench is not related to that.
Nah, he don't have
They
no
chose
injury.
to sit him, and they put Sam Ellinger
Ellinger, yeah.
in. Um,
And
I
if
don't
you
really
are
know
a
much.
Colts fan, I would anticipate seeing Ellinger for the rest of the season.
Probably. It also, if you are a Colts fan, you might have a pretty good draft pick this upcoming.
Because
This
y'all are
upcoming draft.
probably tanking the rest of this season.
This ain't looking great for y'all. Taking Washington.
Taking Washington. Let's move on.
Yeah. San Francisco versus the Rams. Rams up 1.5. Hometown dogs.
That's tough, man, because
Yeah.
divisional game, Debo out, but they got McCaffrey. I'm going to take San Fran.
Debo being out almost swayed me on this one. I mean, this is still Matt Stafford and the Rams we're talking about.
Yeah, but these Rams aren't the Rams they were last year.
They're not. They're really not.
And they're coming off a bye.
Francisco has a fire defense. I think the safe bet is San Francisco. Now, this bye could have helped LA.
Could have.
Realistically, they might have needed this to fix whatever problems they got going on.
Sure.
I don't know if they did for them. Hopefully they did, but I'm going with San Francisco on this. You ready to move on from this one?
Yeah,
to one I'm not too happy about.
Yeah, let's
so
go
we
ahead.
have Green coming off a loss against the Washington Commanders, a rough loss.
A couple of rough losses.
Didn't look great. It was messy. Facets of the game. Heading to Buffalo, but getting 11 points. And I'm ashamed to say I don't think that's enough.
I don't either. I think Buffalo coming off a bye, they've had a week and a half to prep for a struggling Green Bay team. Green Bay just can't seem to get it together against bad teams. So
it's hard to imagine them coming
into Buffalo.
Yeah, going into Buffalo and then putting on a performance.
And as it stands, Buffalo probably the favorite for the AFC to make it to the Super Bowl.
Yep.
Between them and Kansas City. I don't see a world where Green Bay comes in here and stands a chance. And I hate to say it. I do. But
I'm not going to say that they don't have certain key elements that could potentially
sway it. Sure.
Could sway it, but we've seen it. Those elements aren't being utilized correctly.
And maybe Buffalo comes off this by cold.
Yeah, they might.
But it's not a safe bet.
All the time. It's not. I'm going with Buffalo.
Also going with Buffalo. Let's move on. Cincinnati. He just touched the headline. I'm sorry.
All right, it's gonna be okay.
Cincinnati at Cleveland. Cleveland getting 3 in Monday Night Football. That's not enough.
That's not enough.
It's not.
I will say, just throw it out there. Jamar Chase out.
Yeah.
In case anyone was unaware.
T. Higgins not.
T. Higgins is not.
T. Higgins is about to demolish this Browns defense.
The best chance the Browns have is
killing Joe Burrow.
I mean, with the way their offensive line is, it might happen, unfortunately. And that's their best bet.
Yeah, but their defense ain't built for that. I mean, they got Garrett.
Myles Garrett, and if he
Garrett is just coming back off of injury. He gonna
We'll
be a
see.
little rusty, a little rusty.
Hey, we'll see. This might be the best scenario for him. He goes up against a paper mache offensive line and just
Could be. Not
Set.
not likely enough to bet on it.
I'm not betting on that.
Okay.
We're going with the Bengals. And if you'll notice, we did not differ at all.
Nope.
We have very similar opinions on all of these games.
Yep. So next week, when we come
We'll
back
still be
and we're 48 and 71, because we get all of these wrong somehow. Here's the sad part.
Here's the thing. If we get all those wrong, I'm gonna still be happy coming next week because that means Green Bay won. I'm okay with that.
No. Green Bay can still lose by 8.
Ugh.
And we get that pick wrong. And that'd be even more upsetting if they keep it close enough to get us wrong on that, but still lose.
Then I'm just gonna be really upset.
Yeah. And here's the fucked up part. All of these games are mad close, except for Pittsburgh, Philly, Chicago, Dallas, and Green Bay, Buffalo. All 3 of those games could be close games. We could come out of this wrong.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'd be upset.
Mm.
If we get more than 6 of these wrong, I'm going to be pissed.
Oh man.
Also, I feel like we should at least acknowledge it. The Chargers and the Chiefs both on a bye this week. So they will come back next week. Kansas City hoping to continue off some momentum. Chargers hoping to recalibrate after a loss last week. Both teams currently, sitting with above 500 records. We'll see how they handle their bye week. But yeah, that is our picks for week 8. Please feel free to leave your comments with your picks if you wish to. We will comment on this video with Thursday Night Football picks for next week's game. You got anything, Brett?
I hope Green Bay wins.
I hope so too, buddy. Bye, guys.